Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown series. In at number 31, it's a true classic from Superior Software. It's Ravenskull, which came out in 1986 for the BBC Micro and the Acorn Electron, and it was programmed by Martin Edmondson and Nicholas Chamberlain. A really popular game, and deservedly so. It actually saw subsequent releases for the Archimedes in 1994, the RISC PC in 1997, and even a Windows edition from Superior Interactive in 2003. It's a graphical adventure game. It's one of my favorite kinds of games for the Beeb and gaming in general. You take on the role of either an adventurer, a wizard, a warrior, or an elf, and basically depending on which one you pick, your character looks different and the treasure that you have to collect looks different. You have to proceed through 4 levels, starting with Castle Ravenskull itself and then making your way through to the catacombs, the bees hive, and the time shaft. It's a game that relies on an inventory of objects. You can only carry so many at a given time, which means that your choice of objects that you carry is all the more important. It's a really, really enjoyable game, and we're going to get stuck in now. All right, here we go. So there's the instructions there about how to play the game and the fact that we need to assemble the crucifix. That's the ultimate goal, is to collect the 4 pieces of the crucifix, one on each of the levels. Nice ominous whoom sound there. Do you like that? Wow. Now, I mean, there is loader screen art and there is loader screen art, but that is pretty special. I mean, yeah, I think it even calls it out as awesome artwork at the bottom there, and quite rightly so. The castle looks a bit like the one from Palace of Magic, actually. There we are, Nicholas Chamberlain and Martin Edmondson there for Superior Software, 1986. Right, so here's our fairly straightforward controls. So north, south, east, and west, obviously, to move around. P to pick up objects, return to use them, and then D to drop them, which is just as important as picking them up, actually, because you need to manage your inventory very carefully. You can have a look at what you're carrying at any time with an S, and obviously if you want to examine the object further, there's E there. You've also got the ability to commit suicide with Tab. With an adventure game like this one, that can often be quite important if you get yourself into a pickle. But we're just going to blast on in, I think. See how we get on. Please wait. Ah yes, now this is where we choose what kind of character we want to be. It doesn't make any difference to the actual gameplay itself, it just affects what your character looks like and the treasure that they can pick up. So I'm going to go with a wizard. Fare thee well, brave wizard. Whoom. I think wizards pick up crystal balls, that's their treasure. Okay, last attempt was 0% because this is our first time in. And there we are, a jolly bit of jingle music as well. So there's a key here. I'm going to pick that one up and see what we can find over this side. Now, the first impressions of this game are really, really good. I mean, the graphics are really, really excellent. It doesn't look like I can use the key there, so I'm going to have to try a different direction. Yeah, it's very nicely done, and the scrolling is excellent there. There's none of this sort of moving from one room to another. It's constantly scrolling, which is really, really clever. It's very obvious that you're going around a castle. You've got the moat there on the right and the castle on the left. And as I say, background music to boot. So, first impressions of Ravenskull, really excellent. And I remember the first time I played it as a child thinking, wow, this is something pretty special. And that was before I really got into the game proper. Okay, so we are now coming around and we're now on the other side. So actually, if we just quickly go down here, that's where we got to when we tried to go the other way around. But you can see there's a bit of moat in the way, which is why we couldn't get to this stage. Now you have to be quite careful here because what we'll need to do is use that key, which you can see there, key, but we need to leave it outside, and you'll see why in a minute, because when I use the key, if I just drop it over here, there you go, the gate closes behind me, and we will need to reuse that later on. So let's see what we can get up to in this castle first of all. We've got some treasure that we can initially collect here. I think we might be able to, is there any more down here? Yep, there's another bit there. Now you have to collect all of the treasure before you can get to the stage of collecting the crucifix. So yes, it's important to gather the treasure as and when you see it. Okay, although sometimes that can mislead because as we'll see later on, depending on where you end up, sometimes you can find that it lets you down. Now we've got a scroll here, so I'm going to pick that one up, and since I know what it does, I'm going to use it. So it's in my hand at the moment. so I can come out of here and activate the spell. Now it doesn't look like it's done anything, and in fact now that I've used it, I'm gonna get rid of it because I don't need it anymore. It'll give me a free space in my inventory. But what that's done is it's opened the gate that we tried to go in at the beginning, and that will come in handy later on. Also comes in handy if you're anything like me and you lose lives. It means you don't have to go all the way around the castle to get back in again. Okay, now this one you have to be quite careful here. This green stuff you mustn't touch because it's poisonous, and obviously that bee, as you might expect, is quite dangerous. Oh dear. Spoke too soon there. Well, it does at least give me the opportunity to show you what that spellbook did, so you can see that now I can come round this way and that gate is now open. And in fact I can pick up that handy little pickaxe there, which I will be able to use that one later on. So let's come back to where we were before. Actually I say where we were before, I don't think we actually came this way, but it's important to see that we've got 3 locked gates here, so we'll need to unlock each of those obviously to get through the level. Let's see what else we can do. We'll probably go back to that poisonous area with the bee. I'll try and be a little less rubbish with the controls here. So bee up and along and oh, okay. That's not really doing too well here. Might have to apply some creative editing if I lose another life on that. I'm not quite sure why I'm having such trouble with it today. I managed to get through that sequence many times before. Anyway, let's see if we can do it this time. 3rd time's the charm. Oh no! I don't know. I don't seem to be moving fast enough here. You have failed. Excellent. All right. Well, we will just quickly do what we need to do because I didn't get very far that time. If I don't manage to get through on this occasion, I might do a little bit of the old creative editing just to avoid having to subject you to many watches of me dying at the hands of a nefarious bee. It's not as hard as I'm making it look, to be honest. I've, as I say, done this many times before, but anyway, maybe I'm just not quite up to it today. So back to the gate as before. Drop the key. Gate crashes behind me. In fact, while I'm at it, I'll go and pick up the pickaxe over here, just so that I don't have to do that one later, and then head back over here. Oh yeah, no, this is just the locked doors area, so you don't need to go in there. Just need to pick up some more treasure. There we go. I'll come round this maze here and get these ones. I think one of the nice things about Ravenskull as a game is that it's just good fun to play. It's not the kind of game that relies on fast reflexes, well, apart from with that business with the bee, obviously. So let's use that scroll and drop it again. It's also just quite an enjoyable game to sort of lose yourself in, the background music and everything else. It's just just an enjoyable game to play. Now we're going to try and do this again, and hopefully we'll get through it this time. So let's fingers crossed. Let's see if we can deal with this dastardly bee this time. So there we go. So he's moving along. No, there we go. Right. So that's the thing. You have to be. Oh no. Just if to prove a point, I was about to say you have to be careful not to get too overconfident, because if you even so much as bump against that fungus, I think it's fungus or acid or something, you lose a life, which I admirably demonstrated there. So we'll have to head back to our favourite Mr. B once more, see if we can get through this in one piece. Right. So B back and forth and down, and then just very gently edge along here. Okay. So we've got a key here. Now if I just quickly check the inventory, yeah, all I've got so far is a pickaxe, so you've got plenty of space to pick that one up. So we'll grab that. I'm not sure if there's anything else around here. I think it might be a bit of treasure perhaps. Yes, there we go. A gate to nowhere, so don't need to worry too much about that. Now again here, be careful not to prang yourself on the gate, because that can also cost you a life if you're not careful. Anyway, we seem to have managed to get what we needed in terms of keys, so I just need to be careful this time not to come a cropper with the bee. So we'll just wait here for him. Okay, then he'll go backwards and forwards. Just need to wait for him to go past and down, and we're out. Excellent. Okay, so having done that, we can go, if I can remember which direction it's in, it's not this way. We need to go to unlock one of the many gates in the octagonal room, so let's head over there. Alright, now I think it's the one up here, if I remember correctly. Let me just check whether I'm holding, yes, I'm holding the key. So, I'm going to open that gate. Having opened it, I can drop the key. Just try not to drop it in an awkward position, so I'll just leave it over there. And then, yes, now this, if I just remember, we need to take that. Now that's our final gate there, so you can see the bit of crucifix up in the top left. That's our final goal, but we won't be able to get to that just yet. Now this is a very crafty bit. It's probably the hardest bit of the level here, is working out which of these rooms to go into in which sequence, because as soon as you go into them, it locks you in. Oh no, what am I to do? Well, you might think that given that I've got a pickaxe there, I could pickaxe my way out, but having played the game 1 or 2 times before, I know that that's not the right thing to do. Instead, I'm going to pick up this scroll, make sure I'm holding it, and there we go. Amazing. That's now transported me over here. I'm going to drop the scroll because I don't need it anymore, and I'm going to pick up another one of these pickaxes. Now you can only use the pickaxe once, so there is a benefit to holding more than one in your inventory if you need to dig 2 consecutive holes, which is in fact what we need to do. So just make sure I pick up all the treasure as I come along here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go through here and into here. Now I've once again locked myself in, as you can see, but that's no problem, because what I'm going to do is pick up that key, and then if I invoke the first of my pickaxes, we'll use this one, and pickaxe 1, excellent. So I'm going to actually just make sure I hold the second one here, and hurrah, we've dug ourselves out. So I'm going to now drop those pickaxes because don't want to confuse them with something that might be useful later on. So now that's dug our way out, and we can come back in again into the castle through the method. Now this is why I needed to leave the key outside, because now I can pick it up, I can use it and drop it again in case I need to come back in, although actually I don't think it locks behind you now. Right, no, we've been that way before, sorry, that's not where I want to go. I need to go to the octagonal room, which is over here, and we are going to go into, I don't remember which one of these gates it is, I think it's this one. Yeah, so that's the only thing I'm holding at the moment, so there we go. Now, this is where I do need to remember that there is, you have to do this the right way, otherwise you'll end up getting stuck. So I think you have to go this way, grab the treasures over here first. I hope I've done the right thing. It's quite a menace if you get it wrong. It's a slight sort of heart effect going on there. Right. Oh dear. Not sure if I should go that way yet or not. The problem with Ravenskull is that if you do make the wrong decision, you can end up getting yourself locked in, and then it's very difficult to pick the level up from that point. So let's see if we can go. Oh dear, I think we've got another bee coming along here, my nemesis. Alright, alley up. Let's get out of the way of the bee before he comes back. So just gently collect these, don't want to go onto the acid. Right, now let's see, should I be chased by the bee? I think chased by the bee probably better than trying to follow the bee. There we go. This was Repton, of course. Collecting those would cause those boulders to fall down on your head, which is certainly not what you want. Right, now I'm going to pick up that scroll. And I believe that the scroll actually opens a gate. So although it's not a key, I have a feeling that you can use it on one of the gates. I just need to remember. Yeah, is it? I can't remember if it's safe to grab these treasures. That's my only concern here, because if I get it wrong, I will completely mess up the level. So I'm going to say that it isn't. Well, I don't know. It seems to be letting me. I think it's the one underneath that you can't go for. So I'm going to just play it safe And I'm going to open up my inventory for the scroll here. Oh, actually, I should drop that key that I've already used, because that'll hold up a space that I don't need. So let's get rid of that. Drop that, and now let's try using the scroll. There we go, super stuff. Oh gosh, well that was short-lived, eh? So now we need to grab as much treasure as we can. I think you need to go up here first of all. This is where things really start to get tricky, because again, depending on which way you go, you may find that you can never get back. So let's make sure we do this properly. He says, relying an awful lot on memories of Ravenskull at this point. I'm pretty sure this is the right thing to do. Yes, I need to pick that up. I'll need that one later. Okay, was there anything else up? No, there's nothing else up there. I think, yeah, you go. You see, now if I have made a wrong decision, I won't be able to get back. But anyway, fingers crossed that we're still making the right kind of progress. Now then, what's the business here? Can I go through here? I think I can. Oh my goodness, bees! I'd forgotten about them. Right, yes. So you have to be very careful with the old bees there. Now, see, as soon as I grab that, that bee is going to get me. So, oh no, you can actually grab it. So as soon as he comes up, yep, there we go. Right, so we're going to continue down here, and oh yeah, I think this is a moment of no return. Well, no, maybe not here, but I seem to remember there's another area. We seem to have found ourselves in a mortuary here. Never mind. Yeah, no, that's just the back end of the bees there, so you don't need to worry about them. Now this one you need to pick up in order to get to the treasure, but you must not use it. So I'm going to just drop it, because it is a dangerous scroll. It will, yeah, it will. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to complete the level now that I've just come a cropper there. Right. I don't know, because I think all of the barricades that I passed through, I don't know if I can. No, you see, I can't. Let's see if I can. Can I use that again? No, I can't. Oh dear. Well, there's only one thing for it. Oh dear. No, that's curtains for me. You have failed. Oh dear. Well, I think what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of the old creative editing, because I was very close to completing the level there, and it's a bit of a shame that I managed to mess it up rather carelessly. So if you'll bear with me, we will come back very shortly. Okay, so we're back to this little tunnel here where we picked up the dangerous scroll that I mentioned previously. So how do we manage to avoid doing what we did last time? Well, I forgot to do something basically. So first things first, having picked up the scroll in order to just get through the tunnel, the next thing to do is drop it, because we don't want it anymore. And now I can employ my trusty pickaxe, which lets me up into this room here. Which is very important, because not only does it contain a very important key, but there's also another bit of treasure here. And if I hadn't done that, there you go, you see, that's what caused me to die last time. So now we should be onto the home stretch. It's just a case of making sure that we collect any of the last treasures. There we go, and that little oink oink sound means that I have collected the last treasure, which is excellent news. And now all that remains is to remember what to do next. So what we need to do is go back to the area of the closing rooms that you may recall from last time. And there it is. That's the gate that I referenced before. So if we head off into our inventory and make sure we're holding the right key, which we are, we can use the key, and it's the crucifix piece. And that completes the first level of Ravenskull. There you go. And level 2 becomes the catacombs. Now, I'm not going to hold out any predictions for this one, because I don't actually remember offhand how you complete the level, but we'll give it a try. The first thing to say is that the graphics for it have changed a little bit. It sort of almost looks slightly sci-fi now with some of the design here. Oh dear, right. So you see, we're already into classic Ravenskull territory with rooms locking behind. Oh dear. Right. Well, yeah. Not going to be able to get out of that one, so you're going to have to commit suicide, unfortunately, and see whether or maybe we'll try a different direction. Oh, okay, no, we won't try a different direction apparently. How about coming up here? Let's see what we can discover. Well, I do like the graphics though. Yeah, it's a real sort of shift from before. Oh, I've got a little scroll here. I'm inclined to use it. Don't know if it's actually done anything. Has it done anything? Well, it doesn't really matter whether it's done anything or not because I'm now stuck here. I wonder if I can use that. Oh no, that's a key. That's not a pickaxe. Right. Well, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I'm gonna have to kill myself again. Oh, and that was my last life. You have failed. Well, I think that we've certainly given Ravenskull a decent playthrough there, and we managed to get through the first level at least. There are 3 subsequent levels, as I say, each one slightly more challenging than the last. Maybe one day I'll do a full set of Ravenskull completion videos. I have completed the game before, but I must admit my memory's a little bit rusty, so I've forgotten the solutions for some of the later levels. That's the way it is with Beeb Adventure games, of course. You remember the early levels better because you took that many more times to get through them. There was no save state as there is with emulators today, so you had to bash your way through the first level at least in order to stand a chance of completing anything after it. Anyway, that's my excuses out of the way. I hope you've enjoyed this review of Ravenskull. It's an amazing game, very much deserving of its place in the rankings at 31. Do leave me a comment if you remember this game, if it's one of your favourites. Always love to hear from people that have played the games, and indeed people that might be inspired to go and play them if they've not played them before. Anyway, that's it for now, and until the next time, goodbye.